Hey animal lovers, welcome back to the Animal Edit. Have you ever announced something on YouTube? It's a really weird experience, especially if you're relatively new to YouTube and you aren't really someone who announces things on social media. But today I have something special to share with you. We are expecting a baby. So this is going to be our first baby. And we're really excited about it. And I wanted to make this video as part of SSSVEDA because there's been a few things that I have learnt along the way that I thought maybe others could learn from as well. And I also wanted to hear about your experiences too, if you're in a similar boat to me. So my situation is that I'm vegan, or mostly vegan, as you may know if you've watched any of my other videos, and I am sticking to my vegan diet throughout my pregnancy. I'm also 37, so I'm having my first baby a little bit later in life than a lot of other people choose to. So that's a whole new learning experience as well. And as well as that, I've been on a bit of a minimalist journey over the last almost 12 months and going through some major decluttering and just questioning all of the material possessions I have in life and what they really mean to me and the kinds of things that I actually really want to hold on to. So as you can imagine, bringing a new life into the world, there's going to be, well, I expect a whole lot of new challenges that come along with that, and what to purchase, what to keep, accepting gifts from friends and family. This will be the first grandchild for my family, so there'll definitely be gifts and everyone's really excited. So that's a whole other area to look at as well. So there's definitely lots of content there to talk about, and it also, I guess, making this announcement means that I can share my journey with you along the way as well over the next few months. And then beyond, there's going to be lots of stuff that I can share with YouTube along the way. So my experience so far has actually been really beautiful. A lot of mothers will probably hate me for saying this, but I haven't had any sickness whatsoever. I barely had a little bit of tiredness early on, but I am 18 weeks now. I've been incredibly lucky and grateful not to have been sick and to not have had any symptoms. So I don't take that lightly, and I certainly don't take it for granted. I'm really thankful about that. In terms of our experience getting pregnant, without going into a whole lot of detail, it's been a journey, and it's actually been almost 4 years since we opened ourselves up to the possibility of having a child. I won't say since we started trying, because we weren't really actively trying for quite some time, but it did get to a stage where we started to investigate the possibilities and were told last year that it was highly unlikely that we would ever fall pregnant naturally without assistance. So we certainly weren't expecting it to happen spontaneously, which it actually did in the end. So that was a really beautiful surprise, and something that I'm also incredibly grateful for. I'm happy to share more details about that journey, and if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know and I'd be happy to make a video about that. One of the things I want to mention is about being vegan and the fact that I've been on this vegan journey since January this year in 2017. Before that, I was pescatarian for about 15 years. I don't know whether being vegan has impacted those first couple of points, the fact that I haven't been sick, and also the fact that we got pregnant within a few months of me changing my diet after a few years of trying, I suppose. But obviously it hasn't done any harm so far. So I have absolutely no evidence, and I haven't done any investigations about whether veganism is a factor in my experience. Actually, really happy about the response from the medical practitioners that I'm speaking with as well. So my GP and my obstetrician, neither of them had a problem with me being vegan, which I kind of wasn't expecting. I was sort of expecting them to tell me that I should be getting my protein from meat and my iron and those kinds of things, but it was very far from that. They were quite supportive of me maintaining my diet and, just supplementing with vitamins and just being aware. So on that point, I've never had a problem with any blood tests over the years while I've been vegetarian, with iron in particular. I did have a blood test a couple of months ago where I was told that my iron was a little bit low. It certainly wasn't catastrophic, but just something to be aware of. And I've been told that I should take an additional iron supplement. And then I also got another test recently, only in the last couple of weeks, where my B12 levels were a little bit off. And again, it wasn't something that the doctor was concerned about whatsoever. He has asked to do some more investigations just to find out a little bit more. He said he expects it to come back normal, which I'm hoping that it does. Then that's something that I can update you about as well. But B12 is something that I've only recently become aware of, and obviously it's, they're all important vitamins anyway, but this one in particular is important for vegans because it's only available through animal products, and vegans need to get it through supplements or through fortified foods. So that's something that I'm looking into as well. In terms of the supplements that I am taking, I'm taking just a regular pregnancy multivitamin, which is kind of a regular multivitamin that lots of pregnant women are advised to take. I'm also taking a calcium and vitamin D supplement, which is additional to the pregnancy multivitamin. I anticipate that could change over the course of the pregnancy. I might be advised to take additional supplements along the way, but certainly so far there's been nothing that has been a big red flag to my obstetrician or my GP, which is pretty cool. So diet-wise, I haven't changed a whole lot since before I found out I was pregnant. The main thing, I suppose, is all the foods that you're not supposed to eat as a pregnant woman. The good thing about being vegan is that I don't eat soft cheeses, which you're not supposed to eat, or cured meats is another thing that I don't eat. Raw eggs is another one. So being vegan actually means that transitioning to a pregnant diet, I think, is a little bit easier. Having said that, there definitely have been some challenges with going out because of just being aware of things like food being washed really thoroughly, fresh food, not eating pre-prepared and pre-packaged salads. And one of the big ones for me has been rice. So I believe, or my understanding is that rice is one of those foods that if it's left to sit for a while, like in a bain-marie at a takeaway place or even a restaurant, they could have it sitting in a container in the kitchen, that it can start to grow bacteria fairly quickly. And obviously bacteria is something that you don't want as a pregnant woman. So as a vegan, I love to eat things like Indian food and Mexican if it's got rice, and Thai food. All of these foods are really helpful and great for vegans, but I'm finding that as I'm pregnant, I have to be a bit careful and selective about whether I eat the rice, and asking how recently it's been cooked, if I can be bothered asking that question. So there have been a few challenges with going out as a pregnant vegan, but for the most part it hasn't been too bad. And I find that there's always enough options, and I'm not overly picky anyway, so if worst comes to worst, I'm happy to eat a bowl of chips or a bowl of steamed vegetables if I go out. So that's been my experience with that. Another thing that my husband and myself have been really wary of over the last few months is the amount of waste that we produce, and making sure that we're minimizing the waste that comes out of our house and recycling everything that we can, and just being mindful about waste. So when it comes to having a baby, that's a whole new area to discover. One thing that I really would like to do is use cloth nappies. So that's something that I've started to look into. And I know that it's not for everyone, but for us, I believe it's something that we will at least try and persevere with as much as possible. So I'm looking forward to that challenge and to the creativity of using cloth nappies. I think the other big thing, or one last thing to mention for me, has been how it changes your perspective on the world. And I've always felt a great deal of responsibility about my role in the world, regardless of what I'm doing. And bringing a child into the world is a whole other can of worms. So especially when it comes to the environment and climate change, it's something that I'm now thinking about from a slightly different perspective. It's always been a very personal thing for me, and I felt really strongly about climate change and doing what we can to minimize our impact. But the additional factor for me now is thinking about the long-term future and what kind of a world my child is going to be living in. And of course, that's always been a consideration, is the long-term health of the planet and the population on the planet. But now it's even more personal because I'm going to be bringing someone into the world who hopefully will be around for a little while. So it's even more vital to me now that we address what we can when it comes to climate change. So those are just a few of my experiences and thoughts and values that I've been thinking about when it comes to being pregnant. I'd love to hear from you if you have any questions for me about my experience so far, and the kinds of things that you'd like to hear about from me. I will be making more videos on this topic. The Animal Edit is certainly not going to turn into a vegan pregnant blog and channel completely because it's still all about animals and adjusting our lifestyle to have less of an impact on animals. So at the core of everything that I talk about, regardless of what the top level topic is, it comes back to animals and how we're impacting our natural world. So I'd love to hear from you if there's any topics that you would love to see covered on this channel. And with that, I'm going to sign off. Thank you for sticking with me all the way through to the end. I really appreciate it, as always. If these topics are of interest for you and you'd like to hear more, please subscribe to this channel. And if you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up as well. They always mean a lot to me. Thanks again, and I will see you again tomorrow with the very last video for SSSVEDA. Yay! Thanks, guys. See you then.